Version 6 is the latest version of the virtual environment. It's something that we are really excited about as a company, because what we're trying to do is try and address some of the bigger problems in sustainable design. Version 6 is important to the marketplace, principally for two reasons. One is the toolkits allow architects to work in projects much earlier in the design process, so they can start doing this from the very start. But as they begin to move through the design process and begin to make decisions, then with VE Gaia and the sophisticated workflow processes that we put into VE Gaia that navigates through the VE Pro software, we can allow them to access much more detailed technology than they would ever have been possible and currently can do with any other system. And it's through that they will be able to do much better sustainable design. The virtual environment, the way it's now set with its 4 different levels, actually allows a whole range of people to be able to use the software, because each level is pitched for a different market. For example, the VE Ware software, which is free software and connects with things like Revit and SketchUp, can be used by anyone in the world, and it is used by, we've got thousands of people using this software and evaluating free and be able to do things that they would never be able to do before, and it's enabling so many people to get access to simulation software. The toolkits, it's really aimed at architects, and architects at the early stage of the design process, so they can get an indicative evaluation right from day one where they're just playing with shape and form. They get the information at that stage that they can make the best decisions that will mean as the design goes through the process that it's got a much more opportunity to be a good sustainable design. When it comes to Gaia, Gaia is allowing people such as architects to get more access to the detailed VE Pro software, but to the same extent it's also useful for VE Pro users who maybe aren't familiar with some parts of the software. For example, somebody might be very familiar with the thermal analysis software, but not so familiar with the daylighting software. And from that, they can actually use the daylight software without having to go through the learning process. Gaia gives them access to it much easier. And then with the VE Pro software, you're really talking there with people that are sophisticated, have a sophisticated understanding of building physics, be it thermal, daylighting, augmented evacuation, or whatever like that. And from that, they can access the software. I think version 6 is a watershed in the marketplace, particularly for analysis software, because it's now going to bring so many people to analysis that couldn't access it before. It elevates IES above everyone else because we're trying to tackle the big problems. We're not just trying to develop software, it's beyond that. And I think with version 6, people can see what we're doing. What we're actually going to find is that more and more people do it, and as a consequence, the design process is likely to change because it's going to become more analysis driven, it's become more performance based, and as a consequence of that we're going to see much better sustainable design. I think most important at Greenbuild this year is just seeing what's happening in the various booths. I think it's the firm establishment of the sustainability movement in the industry, and I think it's important through something like Greenbuild that people realise that we've got a long way to go. It needs a lot more effort, but it needs Greenbuild to stand up and remove the greenwash that's around.